Last week we brought you a deep dive into every moment from the official Avatar Fire and Ash trailer. This week we went back and watched the Avatar 3 trailer at 0.25 times speed, and here's a breakdown of what we missed in our instant reaction video. Let's dive right in. Who's riding the Ickron? Last time we assumed that this opening section of the trailer was showing us the young couple that are not quite together yet, Loak and Tsireya. And we still are not totally sure, but there is a new theory that we love. This scene is a flashback to Loak and the Tlim. We are seeing the brothers Loak and Tlim flying high in the Hallelujah Mountains, and that sure does look like Tlim's Ickron, a brilliant turquoise color with a distinctive yellow and brown pattern. This also ties in with early speculation that Loak could be the narrator for the new film instead of Jake.
Neytiri's bow. The bow that we see Loak and Tsireya looking at on the beach, which we assume is being collected from the shipwreck a few seconds earlier, is in fact Neytiri's bow that snapped during the climactic fight in Way of Water. Passed down from her father, it broke while Neytiri was on her rampage of vengeance against Quaritch's men on board the Sea Dragon. She then abandoned it, and it must have sunk with the rest of the ship. We don't know why Loak would want it, but we expect it to be of real significance in the plot, given its prominence here in the first trailer.
Tsireya's face tattoo.
The footage we see of Loak and Tsireya looking at each other with intimacy and vulnerability also reveals a detail we missed last time round. Tsireya can be seen here with a face tattoo that was not there in Way of Water. This is what Loak is looking at in the trailer while gently touching her face. Tattoos for the Medcaina clan often symbolize big events or reaching adulthood, implying that Tsireya may now be considered an adult in Fire and Ash. And with adulthood comes greater responsibility. This is another potential explanation for why Tonawari and Ronal look at each other with concern a little later in the trailer. Please let us know your thoughts in the comments. What could this tattoo mean? What has happened to Tsireya?
And moving on to Loak and Jake.
Another area we're actively reconsidering is the father and son clash we see between Jake and Loak. We guessed previously that their argument was stemming from the young Lothario's courtship of Tsireya, but we would also like to put it on the record that this may well actually be to do with the RDA and Tlim. It's very possible that Loak is looking to exact revenge on Quaritch and his crew as quickly and aggressively as possible, and that his father is insisting on a little more of a cautious approach to any retaliation. And Loak is not happy with it. There are many possible alternatives, but we do like these two as they tie in with some of what we already know.
We're staying with Loak.
Loak Revenge Mission. It's definitely plausible that this movie will involve a Loak revenge plot. This could explain why he looks so agitated while looking through the assault rifle scope later in the trailer, and also why the kids are all in the jungle. Perhaps the children all team up to avenge their brother, Tlim. Any of the children being captured could well lead Jake into war again, which Sam Worthington has been on record as saying is what makes this upcoming film hard for his character. In an Empire magazine interview, Worthington said, "The peacemaker that Jake was in Avatar 2 has changed, because he's grieving. He doesn't know how to go forward, and so he goes back to the world that he knows, which is soldiering. To attack, to go to war, that's a comforting place for Jake." If you're enjoying the video, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss our videos. We're posting twice a week.
Next up, we have Jake on board with the
Tlim. As we can see from this official marketing still, Jake is atop his Ickron in convoy with the Tlim clan. So we now know that it is not just Kiri on board the skyship with the Wind Trader clan, which we were led to believe was the case by the trailer. Does this mean that the entire Sully clan will be moving on the Sky Caravan? Perhaps the Wind Traders are helping them find refuge. Another thing we noticed this time is that the Wind Traders' sky caravans traverse the sky with the aid of not one, but two new creatures, Medusoids and Windrays. Medusoids are enormous, jellyfish-like creatures that drift high in Pandora's skies. Serving the Wind Traders as both transport and shelter, they are inspired by Earth's Portuguese man-o'-war. Each Medusoid floats by producing its own hydrogen gas, allowing it to remain airborne for long periods. James Cameron describes them as giant living soap bubbles 500 feet tall. Supporting the Medusoids in their aerial journey are Windrays, sleek ray-like creatures that move with a graceful wave-like motion. Acting like tugboats, they help steer and pull the massive Medusoids through the air, ensuring they stay on course.
Jake in the swamp with the Sully children.
Eagle-eyed viewers notice that the Sully children are not alone in the jungle swamp. It looks like an adult is leading them. In fact, it looks a lot like Jake, and that in one shot he has Spider on his back. This is a shot reminiscent of Way of Water, in which Spider also got on Jake's back. This will all be part of the fight for custody of Spider and who he ends up choosing to side with. His biological father, Quaritch, or his adoptive family. For a while there, we also thought Quaritch could be in the swamp with the kids. Speaking of Jake's nemesis, we want to address Quaritch on the mountainside. A detail we didn't focus on in the first video is the view we get of Quaritch climbing up to meet with Varang. It's a spectacular shot and gives us an idea of the lengths that our main antagonist, Quaritch, is willing to go to in order to find an ally in the Fire Clan. This trek up a massive hill in the shadow of a ferocious volcano will presumably lead him to the Ash Village and its home tree. More details have emerged on the Mongquan clan and their village in and surrounding the home tree since we first saw it in the trailer. In this official image from Empire magazine, which shows the Ash Village, we can see the Mongquan holding spears and on guard while seemingly having someone in their custody. This must be Quaritch. Sticking with the Ash Village, Varang's tent, made from animal jaw? There is speculation that the tent-like structure we see Varang step out of is built around an animal jaw. In the official image, there was more to see of the Ash Village. All these images lead us to believe that using a large animal's jawbone as a tent is not far-fetched for this new clan. Bones definitely might contribute to some of the Mongquan clan's decor choices. Then we have one of the main shots of the first trailer, Varang's firepower. On closer inspection, and following viewer feedback, it makes more sense that instead of her actually being able to create fire from her fingertips, Varang is dipping her fingers in a flammable substance in this trailer, and then using that to manipulate the flames in her fingers and hands. This is similar to what Jake did in the first film when lighting a torch while lost in the forest. So this is one we misjudged. How Varang plays these fiery games without suffering, we do not know, so definitely plenty left for us to learn and to speculate on.
Kiri and Spider. Best friends? In this latest trailer, there are subtle moments which show two of the Sully children becoming closer than ever. Spider chose Kiri's family in Way of Water and turned his back on Quaritch, his biological father. There were moments in the second film where Spider and Kiri were close, including when Kiri rushes to Spider's side in the film's final showdown with Quaritch. There's a new dynamic hinted at in the trailer. We see Spider and Kiri stalking through the jungle together with knives in hand, and then later in the trailer, when it seems Spider's oxygen supply is running out, we clearly hear Kiri's voice foregrounded as the most worried of the other children there. This trailer doesn't spell it out, but the emotional undercurrents are there if you look closely, showing that these two characters are getting closer. Jake captured. The place where we see Jake being taken in by the RDA is in fact Bridgehead City, not Hell's Gate. Bridgehead City appears in Way of Water as a massive walled city with huge construction ongoing, but here we see it in darkness with night wraiths, the Mongquan Ickron coming into land as Jake is taken in by what we can only imagine is Quaritch and his crew. This reinforces the closeness of the alliance between the RDA and the Mongquan. Neytiri's headdress. Neytiri's headwear in the trailer is not, as we previously stated, a new look for Neytiri. This is her headdress for mourning. We saw her like this at the end of Way of Water. Her wearing it again can mean one of three things. 1, this is a flashback or montage flashback to that time. 2, the action of the third movie will start immediately after Way of Water finishes. Or 3, that there is a new reason for Neytiri to be in mourning. Our money at the moment is on the first of these. Director James Cameron loves to open his movies with a voiceover and a montage. Check out Terminator, Terminator 2, Titanic, and the first 2 Avatar movies if you want proof. An opening voiceover montage combination, perhaps from Loak, could cover many of the unknowns from this trailer. Spider's crossbow. The crossbow we see Spider with in the trailer, while he's jumping from floating rock to floating rock, is from the Metkayina clan. We also think it is possible to see a Metkayina necklace around his neck later in the trailer. Spider becoming closer to the Metkayina clan would also add up with one of the official images released in the last week. In that image, we can see Spider has managed to make friends with Tsireya, Payakan, Aonung, and Ratso. Seeing Spider bond with as many Na'vi as possible will bring us closer to him too, which promises to make the danger he finds later in the film hard to take. And last, but definitely not least, Varang's RDA flamethrower. Staying on the topic of Varang's affinity with fire, we are pretty certain that in the penultimate sighting we get of her in this trailer, where she is surrounded by fire, that she is using an RDA flamethrower. There is a flamethrower nozzle pretty clearly visible. Remember, we have seen the RDA using flamethrowers before in Way of Water. This is when Quaritch and his recombinant crew went to the Ta Nui clan and burned the seaside village as a threat to that clan. Perhaps the RDA gained favor with the Mongquan by giving weaponry for their fight with the other Na'vi. Seems like the most likely answer given what we've been seeing in the rest of this crazy trailer. And that's that for our deep dive into what we noticed during our 0.25 speed rewatch of the trailer. If you enjoyed the video, please check out the channel and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a thing from us. Stay with us as we chronicle Pandora's fight for survival.